Hello everyone, welcome along to the workshop here at Rathbone Manor once again. Today I want to give you guys a tour of my toolbox here. This tool chest here, I got it from work a few months after starting there. I believe it was one of two in the machine shop dedicated to a machine, and they were selling them off. This was the second one, and I got it for £20, would you believe, for going to charity of course. And well, it's not bad. I've had to clean it up a little bit because it was rather grubby, as it would be, spending all its life in a machine shop. So I've had to just get all the grime and dirt off of it. I've given it a bit of a go over with some T-cut, just to bring the shine back again. All the drawers are all locked. Oh, that one's not. There we go. So all the drawers are locked when the lid is down, as long as you get them in properly, of course, in the first place. And then we simply open the lid up and we can take a look inside. Okay then, so what do I have in the top half of the box here? I've got some rulers. I believe this one belonged to my late father. Little tri-square thingy here. Another little ruler. Yet another little short ruler. Got quite a few rulers. Pair of glasses for working in the workshop. What else have we got in here then? Two pairs of gloves. I've got some standard Stanley work gloves here. I've got some Sight Cut Master gloves. These are cut proof gloves. Quite a nice snug fit as well. They're quite nice. Moving on, I have my late father's vernier gauge here. A little plastic one which he used to use. I've got a plastic one of my own here, which is quite old. What else we got? A little precision screwdriver set, which I need a proper bag for. This is a what make is this now? I've forgotten already. Look, little Trojan screwdriver set there. And of course I've got quite a considerable collection of screwdrivers right here. Some of these are from the boot sale, such as this one here, which I picked up last week at the car boot sale. Funnily enough, interestingly, it's actually the same pattern as these ones here, which I've had for quite some time now. They've all got the same patent number written on them. The handle design is the same, so I don't know what make that is, whatever make that is. Don't know what that is. Got small ones. I've got some 90-degree screwdrivers here. Oops, 90-degree screwdrivers here for getting into odd places. Little small version of the same screwdrivers we've just been looking at. Little stubby. I've got some stubbies here. I've got several stubbies. Several stubby screwdrivers. And some interesting little stubby ones. You can see these on my channel as well. I've got a review of these little fellas out there. Then I've got several electrical style screwdrivers, which I picked up from the flea market recently, last year. Keep those in there. I can remember my late father had one of these little fellows in his toolkit, so when I found this at the boot sale last year, I had to have it, and here it is, living in my toolkit now. What have we got over there? Alright, so we've got wire stripper here, wire cutter and stripper there. I picked that up from a job I had previously. Got some little Dremel bits here. This is for a tool for lacing, so you can push. If you laced a load of wires together, you can actually push this under the lacing and feed a wire up through there if you've missed a wire out. I've had that for quite a while as well. I've got some like rotary rasp files. These belong to my late father. I purchased these ones from Banggood or somewhere. These, like, you can drill with these, as I say, it's got a drill on the end there, and then you've got like a raspy bit on here as well, so you can slot a hole out in whatever you want to cut into, like a bit of wood. And then I've got a whole bunch of other stuff in here. There's some like socket adapters just here. You can use them in a screwdriver sort of thing, you know. You're aware of the things, guys. It's there we go, look. So it's a standard screwdriver set up there, and you can put like a 1/2 inch socket on here. Oops, I've got some Stanley knife blades here, all falling out all over the place. Tweezers, got some tweezers. This is some form of utility knife that takes those break off blades. Centre drills. These are always useful things to have, centre drills. This is the larger of the set I've got. You can use them for like starting small holes, because a standard drill bit can sometimes wobble about, you know, flex around and not drill where you want it to, whereas these things won't do that. As you can see, they're short and stubby, so they're quite handy things to have in your toolkit. And then we have some very small G clamps or C clamps wherever you live, so they're quite handy little things. Another electrical screwdriver there, don't know what that's doing over there, it should be in there. More sort of screwdriver type bits here. That one's a bit grotty, that one, for some reason or another. A little small Torx driver, I don't know what that's doing in there, I'm sure. I've got a couple of scrapers here, little razor blade scraper type things, I've all seen those. Another utility style knife here. Magnetizer, demagnetizer for your screwdriver. And this thing here, I believe this used to belong to my late father. What it's for I don't really know, but it's forged, whatever it is. I don't know what that's all about, I'm sure, but I'm sure somebody could tell me. And then moving over to here, let's take a look what we've got hidden in here. Right, and so I have a Roebuck 5 metre tape measure here. Always useful to have a tape measure in your toolbox, obviously. I have 2 mains testers. This is my original one. I bought this myself, I believe, when I worked for the tool company. I purchased this one. And this one was sent to me by Banggood, and I've got a review of this one out there as well if you want to take a look how these things work. I've got my Stanley stud and electric cable finder. Doesn't need new batteries in it, quite possibly. Don't know when the last time I used that. I think it takes a 9-volt battery in there. That's useful just to run along your walls to find studs and where the electric cables are and power is and all that lot. I have a sort of rubber abrasive block here. I've had that for a long time as well. You know, you can just use this to get into funny shapes with. As you can see, it's been used quite a bit. Got a little sharpening block just here. Sharpening blades on. For some reason or other, got a little bit of paper. Don't know what that's doing in there. Countersink tool. 2 small pipe cutters. I've had this one for quite a while. This one came from the boot sale last year, and it's quite a nice one too. I've also got a larger one of these as well that came from the boot sale last year. Mr. Silver Van Man had this one in there. As you can see, it's a lot larger than the other ones. It's a much larger pipe, and I haven't got one this size. This needs a bit of work doing on it. As you can see, it's a little bit rusty in the thread in there, but and it's got a little deburring knife on there too. Look, that's quite nice. Just need to clean that up a bit so I can use it. Small tap wrench, a little pin vise, I guess you could call this. I think I've got a smaller one of these somewhere as well. Don't know where that is at the moment. That could be it just there then, guys. That's a little teeny small pin vise. Little plastic clamp there. I've got quite a few of those kicking about. Don't quite know what that's doing in there. This here is a radiator bleeding key. Always handy to have. The utility knife. Got a review of this one out there. It's got a little screwdriver set up on it as well. Look, quite a nice little thing. What we got here then? Oh, more Stanley blades then. I've got a little bit of I can't think what this stuff's called now, to be honest with you. But I've got a little length of it. I've got a whole load of it upstairs in my studio. So very kindly sent in by Trader Joe. Very useful stuff. It's for pulling cables along ducts, ducting and stuff. Really quite strong stuff. So I'll keep a little length of that in there. And then I have a couple of these useful little engineering reference books. I've actually got a couple of Zeus manuals. One of these used to belong to my late father, so I've got two of those kicking about now. If you're familiar with these sort of things, they give you the you know, drill sizes and clearance holes, etc., metric and imperial, etc., that sort of thing. You engineers out there will know what this is all about. And finally, I've got this little deburring tool here. I've had this for quite some time now, well over 30 years. It's just a large drill bit in a bit of, as you can see, insulation here. Cable insulation just wedged in there, and you can use it for deburring holes. I've had it for quite a while now. And then let's not forget this long slotty bit at the front here, because I've got some glasses for workshop use. So I've got some rulers, we've had a look at those already, so smooth those out. I've got this little multi-tool thing here which I'm supposed to be reviewing. I bought it some years ago. It's probably not the best of bits of kit, but quite interesting. It's actually by HX Outdoors. I've got this little toolkit type thing here. I believe this used to belong to my late father too. I've got a collection of sockets here. These are spline sockets. They're interesting things. You can drive all sorts of things with these, you know, different sizes of nuts, you know, metric, imperial, etc. You can see the little splines in there, look guys. Move that out of the way. I've got a very nice little hammer here. I picked this up from my late mother-in-law's house, this one. Quite a nice little Stanley hammer. Quite like that one. This here is my late father's monkey wrench. It's been well and truly beaten up, but I can remember this as a child. He's had this for, or at least he had it for many years. It's part of my collection of monkey wrenches now. I've got a Stanley 99E here, utility knife. That came from a charity shop last year, I think. What else have I got in here? Oh, yet another ruler. This is for again, will fit in a like a Stanley 199 style of knife. So if you've got anything, it'll take a Stanley knife blade that doesn't slide in and out. It'll take this little fellow as well. This needs a bit of a clean up. I mean, I've had this quite a long while now, probably about 30 years or something. Some ridiculous flexi drive thing. I don't know how useful this thing would be, to be honest with you. You just see it driving the end there, look. So how useful that would be, I don't know. But a 24mm socket for some reason or another's in there. What's doing in there? What have we got here? Oh yes, this will be my late father's. Very nice little level here. I like that. It's very nice. Is that? There's cheapo, not very particularly very nice saw handle for as you can see, a hacksaw blade. I've got some better ones of those. They used to be like, one of them used to belong to my father, funnily enough. This one is a much nicer, much better idea, this one. You can put your Stanley blade in here and it's trapped in that slot. You know, a little broken one if you need to, a little keyhole saw style here. This one used to, as I say, belong to my late father. It's a little Eclipse. And I managed to pick this one up, another Eclipse one here. It's an old one from the flea market, not last year, the year before, I believe. This is a cast alloy. It's quite a nice one, quite a nice ergonomic shape to it. Quite like that one, but it's certainly better than this thing here. I've got another one about somewhere, but I don't know where that's gone to now. And then there's this interesting screwdriver here, which I picked up at the tool company I used to work for. It's got a flexible shaft on it, and you can put your standard screwdriver bits in there. You can basically drive around corners with it, look. I have used it actually for some DIY when we first moved here, so it is quite useful to get into places where you can't get with an ordinary screwdriver, but yes, that's quite a nice little thing as well. And also in my toolbox, still, I've got these little discs. These are issued to me, a company I worked for about 35 years ago, and basically if you want to take something out of the stores, like a tool out of stores, you would hand them one of these and they would know who had it and where they could find it, and you'd get it back as soon as you returned the tool. So for some reason, I don't know why, I'm still keeping those. Okay, so moving along to the 3 top drawers here. Let's take a look in the left one first. Okay, so what have I got in here then? All sorts of stuff. I've got an old copy of a Victorinox knife. I've had that since, what, the late 70s, I would imagine. It's quite old, is that? That just lives in the back there, don't use it very often at all. I've also got some these self-grip plier things here. These were returned for some reason or another under warranty to the tool company. I don't know why, because they still work actually, there's nothing wrong with them at all, so I had those. They're part of my collection now. I've got some smaller ones here, some long nose ones. Got a pair of genuine mole grips here, orange. I've had them since late 70s, I would say. Cold steel chisel that could do with a little bit of a TLC. It's a little bit going a bit rusty. Then we have these fellas here. These little sort of divider style markers. They're a little bit stiff. I used to be able to adjust these at one point, but you can't do that anymore. What they're for is for you can set the gap here, just here, and therefore leaving a mark on. You can mark down a piece of metal, so you've got a nice line, nice straight line to cut or mark some holes with. You know, you can just put it down there that sort of depth, and then we can sort of mark them off that way as well for drilling holes, shall we say. But yeah, so they're a bit stiff, they need sorting out. Solder sucker for sucking solder, obviously, as it you know, as it says. Little teeny tiny adjustable spanner here. For some reason or other, little small screwdriver bit, little chunk of aluminium. 10 and 11mm spanner. I've no idea what that's doing up there actually. Oh wait a minute, I've got a load more here. I've got a load more little small spanners as well. That's what there's. There we go. That's what that's doing up here. Got a load of very tiny little spanners here. These are very small, these lot. These are like 6s and 5s, 5.5s, etc. So they're all living in there as well. Got a little double-ended ratchet wrench here. Got a review of this out there. Then we have a little, this little fellow here. This is a Moore and Wright Acme, looks like Acme thread gauge sort of thing. So you can find out what size threads you've got, or cutting you want to cut thread sizes with it. And I have 3 pairs of these little fellas. These are always handy. Oops, I'll drop that one on the floor. Hang on. These little fellas are always handy because you can. I could keep some of these at work as well, because you can get old stuff and they'll lock off like so, and we'll keep hold of it. Forceps, that's what these are. So I like to keep a set of forceps about the place. Always useful. I'll chuck that one on the floor again. Come on, get back in there. Okay, so these next 2 drawers should, in theory, be filled with pliers and cutters. So we've got a couple of T-strippers here. These came from a company I worked for, military contractor, some years ago. These are quite useful. They're quite useful things to have. One of several pairs of slip joint pliers, came from the tool company I worked at. Very large cutters here. Got them off the market when we first got married to, for working in the house. This is my first pair of cutters that my late father bought me back in the mid-70s. What else have we got here then? Oh yeah, these are the replacement blue pliers which I lost, which went along with these back in the day. So I got these from the boot sale last year. They cleaned it very nicely, so they're they go yuck. So they've been well oiled, haven't they? Coming out all over the place now. So yeah, I've got those as a replacement for the ones I lost. And I've got my Elliot Lucas pliers and cutters. These are the 3000 series. These are very modern looking. Back in the day these were. Back in the early 80s. I thought they were very modern looking things, so I had to have some of those. Another pair of long nose pliers I picked up sometime in the past. Ah yes. Yeah, some little end cutters here. Look how small these things are, look. These are tiny little cutters, look. They're made by. So yeah, I must have had those for the military contractor I used to work at back in the day. They're quite nice. It took me about 10 years to get out of these. I couldn't make my mind up whether I wanted this style or the other style, but last year these were a very nice price on FFX Tools, so I had those finally. And we have another pair of long nose bent pliers here. They come from the market, I guess, many years ago. And then moving along to this drawer here, we have more pliers in here. I've got quite a few pliers and bits and pieces that I've picked up from the flea market here. This is one of them. Quite like this one. Cleaned this one up nicely. They're very nice. I like the grips on these as well. They're very nice. They're not branded. I don't know what make they are. I've got some Stanley Fat Max. What are these ones? FMHT 17659s. These are one of these multi-use pliers. Purchased this last year. Yet to do a review on these. They're quite nice. Another set of slip joint pliers. These are unusual, and in fact they've got like 2 round bits in there for gripping. You usually only see one, don't you? They're quite nice. They might have been out of a car toolkit at some point or another in the past, possibly. I've got some small Gordon tools. Well, they look like water pump pliers, but they might very well be contact. We're working on contacts. They're very small. Again, little slip joint. They're dinky little things they are. I like those. Got them from the flea market. Got some equally small little Knipex. These are Knipex 8701125. Very nice. I've got a review on these on my channel. Quite like these. They're quite expensive, but they are very well made Knipex. Moving along, got some nice cutters here. These are Knipex as well, look. These are 0505185s, stainless steel cutters. These were going to be thrown out at a little company I was working for a short period of time, just before I started my current job, because they were blunt apparently, but I rescued them. They still work quite nicely actually, so they're alright. Glad I got those. A little small pair of combination pliers I picked up off the market a few years ago. Again, there's a cleanup of these on my channel. A very old pair of pliers, again from the mid-70s. I think my late father must have got me these again. These are Wilkinson tools. These are off the flea market last year. Needed a good clean up. Very good condition. Very nice pair of pliers indeed. I like those. These are massive, great big things. They're about 10 inches long, I think these are. These are Elliott Lucas Elect from Cannock in England. Can't quite make out the number there, but 216310s, so 10-inch high tensile pliers. I believe these came from Mr. Silver Van Man. Lovely pair of pliers. I've got some. Ow, ow, ow! Oh, just trapped my hand in there. That was clever. Some Laowa Tools slip joint pliers. These are very nice. I like the design. I think I've got a review of these on my channel too, guys. Lovely, the design are like a swan's head almost. Another set of pliers and cutters. These came from the tool company I worked for, stainless steel. Especially their top end range, but yeah, they're okay, I suppose. Not as good as some of the ones I've got out there, but they're not bad. And then I have my Negisaurus from Engineer, the Japanese company. I purchased these, was it last year, the year before, I don't know. But these are for removing screws. You can get out of screws with these. I love the design of these things. I mean, look at that. Look at the detail on here. Wonderful they are. Very nicely made. Nice handles as well. Very comfortable to hold. I think I'm supposed to be doing a review on these as well, but I haven't got round to it again. But yeah, they're very nice. They are. Okay, let's move down to the first of the larger drawers here. And as you can see, there's lots of shiny stuff going on in here. and these are just some of my collection, and these are all the ones I've cleaned up of footprint wrenches. This particular one here isn't actually a footprint wrench, it's a copy of said. It's a I believe this to be an apprentice piece somebody's made up, and that's really nice. I picked that up on the last flea market before Christmas last year, and I'm glad I got this now. I've got a video of this on my channel, but the rest of it are all genuine footprint wrenches. This here is a contemporary one. You can buy them like this today in this configuration here. These are all older ones. These date back, some of them between the two world wars. This one's owned by a company and has been beat to death, as you can see, but it's still going, still works. Some of them, like this one here, and several others, I've had to make my own pivot pin up for them because it was missing. This one here has got its original pivot pin. You can see it's quite a few different styles and sizes here. I've got this massive, great big one. I think this is about a 12-inch job. Really nicely made. I love the material that they're made from back then, because they have some really high quality metals back then. So there's that lot there. I've got this little fella here, coming from China, all different size sockets and the one little tool. I think you can put screwdriver bits in there as well. Different little thing, I suppose. Little again, they're like as you can see here, they're spline sockets. They'll fit just about anything. Metric on that side and imperial that side. I'll keep that in there, just a little curiosity. There's my Trojan hack knife here, my first hack knife. I managed to get this from on sale at my local DIY store. Got some tin snips here. These go right back to about the late 70s, when I was working for the first engineering company. And I'll pick these up from the tool company. These are tin snips as well. Make good scissors as well, actually. These are really nice. And they remind me of the reason I purchased them, because I've seen, I used to watch a lot of Laurel and Hardy as a child. My late father used to love it. And in one scene, Stan Laurel cuts some paintbrush bristles off of Oliver Hardy's chin with some very similar to these. I like those. What else have we got? Electrician's scissors here. These are Lower again. Quite nice. This is like I believe this is like probably a fencing tool, possibly. Got it off the flea market last year. Another fencing tool I've had quite a while. Don't know why I got that, but I did because I wanted one. You know how you pick these things up because you want it, not because you need it. And I've got some crimpers right here as well, look, for crimping terminals onto wires. Oops, I'll get it to stay shut. There we go. Okay, right. So that's that drawer dealt with then. Next drawer down, I've got loads of files and things. And this thing here I picked up from the flea market last year. I believe it's a file for tiles, ceramic tiles. I got this from a charity shop some years ago, and I believe it's like a farrier's file for filing horses' hooves and what have you. Certainly looks nice and rough, doesn't it? I don't use it. I haven't got any horses or anything, but I use it for woodwork actually. I got an idea this was my late father's, so that lives in there. That's quite a nice little file. Several other files, quite a few of them. Picked this one up from the tool company I work for. Again, this is like a woodworking tool, woodworking file. Little small sort of half-round style of file here. Look. Oh, so I've got loads of stuff. Little Jemmy. I believe this is an Eclipse Jemmy. I've had that for quite a while. I've got a little small teeny Wonder Bar sort of thing here. Picked that up from one of the DIY stores. I believe these again used to belong to my late father. Got loads of files in there. For some reason or other, another solder sucker. Well, this is a little tree saw type thing. As you can see there, it's like a pull saw. You pull it to cut that away. So it's for. But this is a Stanley. I've had this for quite a while as well for trimming trees in the garden. So that lives in there. There's a little Draper Yankee style screwdriver here. So that, I think the bits live in the handle here as well, for that matter. Let's have a look. Go on. Good grief. Right, yeah, the bits live in the handle there. So I've had that for quite some time. Right, in you go. These are Allen keys in here. The package is all falling apart, but it's Allen keys, as you can see, a set of Allen keys. So the package doesn't always want to run properly there. Another set of Allen keys there, with some missing by the looks of it. Gone missing over the years. Got some files, file brushes here to clean file teeth. A couple of those. A little bit of copper pipe for the same reason, to clean files. More Torx bits. So I don't know why that Torx bit's living in the top there, but that'll have to come down in here, I think. And we have a tie wrap gun here. It pulls and tightens tie wraps and chops a little extra bit off the top of it. So that's what's living in there. And some little screwdrivers. Look, I think I've got over a review of those in my channel too. I've got some other little stubby screwdrivers up there, which I might have shown you earlier on. And finally, the larger bottom drawer here. Hammers, like a copperhide mallet here, Thor. I don't think this one comes back to you though, I'm not sure, I haven't tried it recently. Little small junior hacksaw that used to belong to my late father. More hammers. As you can see, different styles of hammers. Rubber mallet there. And as you can probably see, I've got loads and loads of very shiny spanners in here as well. All different styles. Including this little Bonnie here. Thank you very much to Resto Rob for sending that over. That lives in for these guys now. I've got loads and loads of different spanners in here. A set of adjustables over here. Barco, very interesting Barco there. Got a review of that. I've got some of these very interesting Iramos. Still looking out for some more of those actually. I think I know somebody who wants one of those. Ring spanner. Other bits and pieces at the back there. And this here is waxed lacing. I've got a better reel of this over here. There we are. That's almost a full reel of the stuff. We used to use this for the military contract for lacing cables together because they look much nicer done like this than they do with tie wraps. It's a bit of an acquired skill. I haven't done it for a long time. I don't know if I could still do it today actually, but yeah. Okay then, so that's a look through my tool chest here. I've actually got several other boxes of tools as well, including a little small one which I keep over here just behind the boiler. So let's get that one out and have a look. Okay, let's see what we've got in here then, shall we? Little sort of budget end vernier gauge here. As you can see, nothing special, by CK, made in Germany. It's alright, I suppose. It does its job to a degree, but it's not as good as the I've got a much nicer one up in the studio up there. So there's that utility knife with a sliding blade. Yet another junior hacksaw. Had that a while too. Contemporary level here. And I've got a considerable set of small pliers and cutters. Again, these are nice. I think these are, yeah, these are Lindstrom. These little fellas are Lindstroms. I had these when I worked for the the military contractor, because we were doing such fine work, and they're very nice, they are. We were made redundant from there, as you do get these days, made redundant quite often, so you know, they let us have the tools. So here they are, more cutters. These are retaining cutters. You've got this little extra jaw on just there that keeps hold of what you just chopped off so it doesn't go flying off. Hopefully you can just about make that out there, guys. A couple of cheapy pliers I picked up from China very recently. Sheffield. Never been anywhere near Sheffield until it came over here. Some files, little needle files there. This is some compound pliers here. They used to belong to my late father-in-law, I believe. These are Drapers. As you can see, Draper compound pliers. Compound combination pliers as well, for that matter. Another Stanley knife. Another set. Huh, so I've got 2 sets of those then, retaining cutters. Didn't know that. Don't know how I've got 2. More cutters here. Little small brass wire brush. Chuck that over there. A white Stanley 199A. Picked that up from the flea market last year. That's nice. Obviously, Camasa Tools wire stripper and crimper. Insulating tape there. More tweezers. Wall plugs. Oh yeah, Draper. Picked that up for last year at the flea market as well. A Draper utility knife thing, like a Stanley knife, but a Draper. Oh yeah, look, there's another one. Another one of those screwdrivers again. Texas, from Texas, when they were before they went out of business. So that'll have to go in my other toolbox. I don't know what that's doing in the bottom there. That can go over there then. Spirolux, made in England. Another insulated screwdriver by the looks of it. Have I done that? Yeah, I might have done that. Okay. Let's go in the other toolbox as well. And 2 more electrical test screwdrivers. Whether they still work or not, I don't know. Might do. Bag of screws for you know, patrices. Chuck them over there. Another little small 6-inch ruler. Little Stanley screwdriver there. Don't know what that's doing in there. More pliers. There's a load of rubbish in the bottom of this box. I don't know what the hell that was. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It was a load of rubbish. So it's got some more pliers there. Some nice little files. Very nice little files they are. Again, another screwdriver. Picked up from somewhere or another. Little awl for making holes in wood. Seen that enough on my channel. That was given to me last month by somebody at work. He found it in his garden. Got another one of those little screwdrivers. Texas. I'm just going to have to go with my Texas instrument blade. That's going to go in the other toolbox. I don't know what I was doing in there. This is sort of like my sort of secondary tools. Little tiny screwdriver. Ugh, some old araldite in the bottom there. Glass cutter. Yeah, let's just have a look in the bottom there, look guys. So that's the rubbish that's left in the bottom there. Insulation tape. Another pair of pliers there. I don't know what, there's so much rubbish in the bottom there. I don't know what it's all doing in there, I'm sure, but broken file, anyone? And this here is my best pair of verniers. These are very nice, these ones are. I picked these ones up from the tool company. These are hardened stainless steel apparently. Wonder what it says just there. Yeah, imperial and metric. Quite nice ones these are. Because I prefer this style to the electronic style because these are more reliable, I think. Personally, there's no electronics to go wrong, no batteries to run out. And that's why I prefer these ones here. And as I say, these are my bestest ones, and they live up in the studio. Okay then, everyone. I do hope you enjoyed coming over to Rathbone Manor and taking a look through my tool chest here. See all the tools I've got. I've still got a few more kicking about. Got this thing here, for instance. There's another part of my collection. These things here. Probably can't see them too well. I'll put you a photograph up of them. But yeah, I've got quite a collection of tools, as you can see, collected over many years. Still collecting them, new and old alike. Yeah, I just enjoy collecting tools, and tools are very, very useful anyway. You know, if you're going to do a bit of work, if you haven't got any tools, you're a bit stuck really. But yeah, okay then. So thanks for popping over to Rathbone Manor and taking a look at my tool collection. I've got, as I say, a load of footprint wrenches in here. I'm supposed to be doing a video on those because I've also got copies and fakes as well. So I'm supposed to be doing a video on those as well. So I'll have to try and squeeze that one in as well. But yeah, so thanks for popping over and taking a look at my tool kit here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments or questions, please leave them down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you laters.